So welcome into the GVT Football Review Show. I'm your host, Gomo Victor Hines, and as always, it is a pleasure to have you here with me. And so we head into the international break as another round of international football games comes around for the next 2 weeks. But before we join the rest of the players and the rest of the world in the international break, there was still plenty of entertaining and thrilling football being played this past weekend. And we're going to take just a quick recap of what went down all around Europe this past weekend. And without wasting no more time, I'm just going to get the ball rolling and get straight into today's video. And we'll start off in England with the Premier League, and specifically Manchester United getting that 3-1 victory over Everton at Goodison Park. Well, I think you've heard the phrase, Ole Gunnar Solkskjaer always seems to get the result when he needs one, and this was a result that he desperately needed following those two consecutive losses against Arsenal and Istanbul Basaksehir in the UEFA Champions League. There were, concerns and there were questions being asked, and there were already rumors that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be seeing or could have seen the door if he got anything other than a victory on that day. But it was Bruno Fernandes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's winter 2020 signing in Bruno Fernandes, who has been the star of the show at Old Trafford, and Manchester United, who pulled him out of the fire. He scored 2 goals and set up Edinson Cavani for his first goal in Manchester United red. It was a wonderful performance from the Manchester United players in general. They were on the front foot from start to beginning, although Everton did draw first blood, but they showed real resilience, character, and just confidence to go on and come back from that 1-0 deficit and win 3-1. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he gets to live and see another day. But this is exactly what Manchester United fans, if they can keep this sort of momentum, because we know that Manchester United can play. They have the players. When you have a team with the likes of Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, these are superstars. These are players who can win you the results. If he can get a system that can make sure that these guys perform week in, week out, then who knows where Manchester United can end up. But for now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still gets to see another light of day. But now he needs to give some sort of momentum and consistency if he wants to be a Manchester United legend and not follow the path that his predecessors have followed, the likes of Mourinho, Louis van Gaal and Moyes, in being sacked. Now we move on to Leicester City up against Wolves, with Leicester now topping the table heading into the international break. Jamie Vardy scoring from the penalty spot. Brendan Rodgers, it has been the surprise package this season. We really did not expect Leicester City to be pushing for where they are right now. They are top of the table after 8 games in, and that is a pretty interesting and a pretty impressive fit from the Foxes. But can they keep it up? This season, one thing that we do know is if you do not get the momentum, then somebody is definitely going to come and take over your position, as we see with Everton and as we've seen with Liverpool. Liverpool got that 1-1 draw against Manchester City. Before this game, they were top of the table. Before this weekend, they were top of the table. Now they find themselves in 3rd position. It was a pretty interesting game. It was a real tactical battle between Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, as always. Gabriel Jesus getting on the score sheet after Mohamed Salah had scored from the penalty spot. And after the first half itself was thrilling. It was entertaining. You just could not get your eyes off it. But the second half, it seemed that, both these managers kind of say, let's just not get the defeat. Because they were kind of tentative. Against each other, as they were kind of reserved in the second half. We did see Gabriel Jesus have that header that was perhaps the only real chance Manchester City did have to win it in the second half. But other than that, it was blunt, it was quiet, and we could say that both teams cancelled each other out. But Liverpool found themselves in 3rd after that draw. Then we had Arsenal losing 3-0 to Aston Villa. Mikel Arteta, after the game, came out and said this is perhaps his worst performance as Arsenal manager, and rightly so. There was just no enthusiasm, there was just no energy, it was just lackluster from the Gunners on the field that day. And the one thing is clear, that they have no creativity. They have nobody who can carve something out of nothing. Thomas Partey can take you so far, and he's been a revelation so far, but there is no creativity within this Arsenal lineup, and they desperately need that. And on the night, you could say there was no creativity, but they were horrible defensively. They were horrible all around the pitch. And Aston Villa, I think we could see just signs of that 7-2 victory against Liverpool, because they were at it from the get-go. They were just go, go, go. Ollie Watkins, what a signing he has been for Aston Villa. Jack Grealish, this guy can play. He definitely has to be one of the best England players right now in the Premier League as we speak. And we all know that, once it comes to the England national team, there's plenty of competition. But if you're Gareth Southgate and you've been watching Aston Villa play, you know that there is no doubt, there is no question that Jack Grealish has been their best player and perhaps is one of the top 3 players in the Premier League this season. And of course, we're heading into the international break, as I said, and he has to be the first on that name sheet. If he isn't, then that would be an absolute shocker. He has to be one of the first names on that team sheet. But for Aston Villa on that day, he ran things. He was on the ball. He was creating chances. He was going at players. And at the end of the day, it was just a wonderful performance from Jack Grealish and his Aston Villa teammates. Ollie Watkins, as aforementioned, was superb. What a signing he has been once again. And he got 2 goals yet again today against his boyhood. Well, a team that he says that he would love to play for one day. But for Arsenal, back to the drawing board. You can't really say a lot, because Arsenal have been putting in performances over the recent couple of weeks and recent couple of months. This was just one bad day at the office, and how they react from this loss will be a true testament of what they are. Because if they fail to react from this one, and the next game that comes in, they have another loss or drop more points, then maybe there will be questions surrounding Mikel Arteta. But as I said, how they react is going to be important. They need to come out with yet another victory once the international break comes to a close, and then just maybe this game will be forgotten. But for now, back to the drawing board, and so just about at the office for Arsenal. And then we move on to La Liga, where Real Madrid conceded 3 penalties on Saturday and lost 4-1 to Valencia. It was shambolic, it was appalling, it was abysmal in the defense. The whole back line was at fault for all the 4 goals. Marcelo, Lucas Vazquez, and Sergio Ramos all caused 3 penalties, while Rafael Varane scored an own goal. It was just abysmal, it was just shambolic, as I said, by the Real Madrid defense. And really, is it surprising? Is it not surprising, given what Real Madrid has shown us this season? Because you can't really make a sweeping statement of what Real Madrid are this season, because after that, a Clasico victory, after that 3-2 narrow victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach, and of course that victory over that 2-2 draw against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and of course that 3-2 victory over Inter Milan. We had expected Real Madrid to say we thought that they turned the corner, but as we speak, it is inconsistency after it's inconsistency. This week they're playing really well, the next week they're playing terribly, and when Sergio Ramos was not in the squad, every time he's not in the squad, we say that he is the missing piece of the puzzle. But over the recent weeks, he has definitely been in the squad, and the goals are coming in. The goals are being scored at the other end of the pitch. And at the end of the pitch, one weekend they're firing on all cylinders. The other weekend, they're nowhere to be seen, just like this past weekend. And Zinedine Zidane, of course, at the end of the day, however much the players are not turning up, it always comes down to the coach. It always has to come down to the court, and I think that is the hardest job in football, being a football manager, because if you win, then you look good. If you don't win, then it is all down to you. And for a team like Real Madrid, where the demands are so high, where they expect the manager to perform week in, week out, season after season. After what's been going on recently, Zinedine Zidane really has, I should say, his seat is pretty hot right now. But it's all down to the manager. How does he motivate his team after this? How does he set them up after this? Casemiro was out of the squad, and one thing that we have observed is that they tend to struggle without Casemiro. And so it's going to be interesting to see just what sort of remedy that Zinedine Zidane has for this Real Madrid team going forward. Then, of course, from there we had Atletico Madrid winning 4-0 against Cadiz. Joao Felix, he's enjoying himself right now. He's definitely justifying the price tag that Atletico Madrid paid for him to bring him from Benfica. And of course, Luis Suarez as well was on the score sheet in that 4-0 thrashing of Cadiz, and they find themselves third in the league table. FC Barcelona defeated Real Betis by 5 goals to Lionel Messi on the double, scoring a brace coming off the bench. And it was obviously him who came out and proved to be the difference between the two sides. And given the fact that Ansu Fati had been the star of the show for this Barcelona team since the start of the season. He had to be hoofed off with an injury, and it is reported that he could miss around 5 to 6 months of football after he damaged his knee pretty seriously. And so it has to be Lionel Messi up again. Lionel Messi now has to take on the burden of being this star player and getting this Barcelona team over the line. Of course, we've known that he's had his off-the-field problems, his off-the-field issues, but now on the field, the fans, the players expect him to perform. He performed in that game. Now after the international break, we'll be back and we'll see just where his head is at and just what he has to offer, perhaps in maybe his last season for FC Barcelona. And of course, we had Real Sociedad defeating Granada by 2-0, and they find themselves at the top of the La Liga table. Then when we head on to Italy, it was a weekend of draws. Atalanta, Inter Milan 1-1, AC Milan, Verona 2-2, Lazio, Juventus 1-1. Well, if we're speaking about Juventus, Cristiano Ronaldo obviously got his 6th goal of the Serie A season. And well, they were blunt, they were slow. Juventus at the moment have 4 draws and 3 victories in 7 games. You could say they're unbeaten, yes, but this is not what we expected this Juventus side. Andrea Pirlo, I think we could see, is still struggling to find some sort of system because different weeks we see Juventus playing a different style of way or different type of way. One weekend Juventus are reserved, one weekend Juventus are free and just enjoying themselves in the attacking sense of the field. But there is no momentum, there is no cohesion, there is just no fluidity in their style of play, and that is something that Andrea Pirlo has to work on quickly, because Juventus, like Real Madrid, like Manchester City, like Bayern Munich, these are the teams, the top teams in their leagues, and if you do not put in the performances that as expected, you could find yourself in positions that you do not want to be in. As I keep stressing, and whether you're a club legend or not, trophies is what the fans and what the club in general want. And if you cannot deliver those trophies, well, they will look for someone who can deliver those trophies. But Andrea Pirlo, he's still unbeaten in the league. That has to say something, but he needs to find some sort of fluidity in his style of play if he wants to be anywhere, or if he wants to get his Juventus team anywhere near that he expects them to be. Then, of course, we had the Der Klassiker in the Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund were defeated 3-2 by Bayern Munich. Alaba, Lewandowski, and Leroy Sané doing all the damage, while Marco Reus and Erling Braut Haaland at least gave Borussia Dortmund a fighting chance. And of course, all the talk towards this game was, or prior to this game was, well, Robert Lewandowski versus Erling Braut Haaland. And of course, the best number 9 in the world at the moment came out on top. And after the game, we saw Erling Haaland walking over to Robert Lewandowski and just having a conversation with him and just hugging him. And that tells you that, you know what, he's definitely an inspiration for Erling Braut Haaland. He's 20 years old and he's already a superstar in the making, or if not, already is a superstar, because he is the goal scorer for Borussia Dortmund. And Borussia Dortmund, we know that they are the closest team to Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. And what they've done over the past couple of years, over the past few years, is, you know, they're bringing in the right sort of players, the right talent at the club. And Bayern Munich, of course, they are still the dominant house with the senior players, with all these quality players. But you can seriously tell that, you know what, with Borussia Dortmund, if they keep on this path, on this path that they have embarked on, then they definitely have a chance of overtaking and just knocking Bayern Munich off their part. But as of now, Bayern Munich are still the dominant team in the Bundesliga, Germany, and well, they got the 3-2 victory over their rivals. Now, of course, those were some of the big games that went down in all around Europe this past weekend. And as I said, we're off into the international break, so no club football for the next 2 weeks, but international football is still nonetheless interesting and thrilling, as it is still football. But as of right now, I'm going to end this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, leave a like. I'll see you guys all next time.